Today we're going to talk about the basic steps that we need to take in order to conjugate a regular AR verb in Spanish. It's important to begin with reviewing our subject pronouns. A subject of a sentence tells us who is doing the action. For example, if I said, Ana sings, Ana is my subject. If I wanted to replace my subject with a subject pronoun, I could say, she sings. And she is my subject pronoun. I'd like to go over just the subject pronouns in Spanish real quick. Starting with yo. Yo means I. Tú is you, but it's informal and singular. So if you're talking to a friend, somebody that you know really well, you would use tú. So that's your familiar you. And it's also singular. There's just one person that you're talking to. Then we have the other kind of you that's also singular. It's usted, or you can spell it out. Usted. So it's either with a capital U or and a period at the end, or you can spell it out. And this is our you, but it's formal and singular. Our next one is going to be él, which is he, and ella, which is she. Then we have nosotros, it's we or us, and that's if we're talking about at least one other person, and if you're talking about yourself, so that's we. And that's if it's boys or mixed boys and girls. You have a group of boys and girls. I'm just going to call it boys or mixed boys and girls. Nosotras is the same thing, we or us, but this is girls only. Okay, and then we have ellos, which is they or them. We have ellas, that's also they or them, but this one is just girls. This one is boys. I'm going to say boys are mixed boys and girls. So even if we have a big group of girls and there's one boy in the group, it's going to be ellos. If we have only girls, it's just going to be ellas. So this is if you're talking about more than one person, you would use either ellos and ellas depending on the gender of the people. And then our last one is going to be ustedes. Or we can abbreviate this, ustedes. And that is you, all, or you can say you plural. So these are our subject pronouns in Spanish. We're going to talk about grouping them as well. The yo is by itself. The tú is by itself. And we're going to group, even though they all have different meanings, we're going to group usted, él, Usted, él, and ella, those are going to be grouped together. We have nosotros and nosotras. And we have ellos, ellas, and ustedes that are all grouped together. When we conjugate a verb, we're going to talk about the endings that we put on verbs. But the ending for yo is going to be o. The ending for tú is going to be as. The ending for usted, él, and ella, because they're all grouped together, is going to be a. The ending for nosotros or nosotras is going to be amos. And, I circle that one, that's nosotros or nosotras, either one. And this one is going to be an, and that's for ellos, ellas, and ustedes. So it's the same ending for all of those. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the steps that we need to take to conjugate a verb. Clear this. So our first step, we're going to start with, an AR verb in the infinitive form. Infinitive means that it's in the most basic form, that we haven't done anything to it. So for example, the verb bailar. Okay, bailar means to dance. Okay, so that's our first step, because we're just going to identify our verb. We know that it ends in AR, and we know that it's a regular verb. Okay, step 2, we are going to remove the AR ending. So we're left with, so we have bailar, and we're just going to remove this ending. So then we're just left with baila. And our next step is we are going to write that verb without the ending. And this is when we're going to add an ending depending on our subject. Okay, so this could be, if I want to say yo, and I want to use bailar, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the ending. So I'm left with yo, bail, and our ending for yo that we wrote down on the last screen is o. So it's yo bailo. If my pronoun is tú, then I'm going to go through those same steps. I'm going to start with bailar. I'm going to take off the AR, and then I'm going to replace it with as. So that's my ending. So whatever, let's take ustedes. And I want to say that you all, or you plural, dance. I would say ustedes bailan, because the an ending is the one that goes with ustedes. There are some verbs that I want you to focus on. You're going to see them on your final. And I want you to keep in mind that you can do these same steps with any of the regular AR verbs. So I'm just going to write a few of those, not a few, but quite a few. So let's take, our first one is bailar, to dance. We have cantar, and these are all verbs that we've done before. Dibujar. So you can practice with any of these. Hablar, nadar, enseñar, estudiar, and the list goes on. So there are many AR verbs that you can use. So just keep in mind that you have to identify your subject, you have to remove the AR ending, and you need to replace that ending with the appropriate ending that goes with your subject. So I hope that helps. Thanks.